we have two people that are here. Our cancer survivors are here.
Oh,
So would you guys like to stand by? I'm going to bring Tracey and Pam on,
let's do that.
and we're going to let them tell their story and include them in the party. Welcome, Tracey.
There's
Hi,
Tracey.
everybody.
Hi,
Up,
Tracey.
Where Tracy from the
Hi.
other day? I
Happy
remember
New
Tracy.
Year.
Welcome, Pam.
Hey, Pam. Pam's mic's not on.
Hi, Pam.
Hey, Pam.
Okay, hello.
There you go.
Oh, okay, maybe.
I got it.
All
How
right.
are you?
Congratulations.
Well, she got to turn something off. I hear the echo.
Huh?
Uh-oh.
Yes, this is Pam. Okay. So Pam is also a cancer survivor. And let me see if I can bring those two on together. If not, we're going to have them speak about their experience. Are you guys okay? Well, Tracey, okay, I can't bring you back on together, so I guess we'll talk for a minute, and then we will let each one of you tell your story. Tracey, Drayton, and Pam Harlan are both two cancer survivers. So who would like to go first?
I'll
Would you
go
like
first.
to go, Tracey? And then Pam
I
will.
will.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll let Tracey go first. Let's see, Tracey.
Do you want me to
I'll
start
let
off
you
with my
tell-
story first?
Yeah, that would be nice. And then I will go from there. Yeah, if you would please do that, I'd appreciate it.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
I'm
evening.
Tracey Drayton. I'm here in Denver, Colorado, originally from Pennsylvania. I want to give you just a little bit of story as far as being a breast cancer survivor. Back in November of 2007, I went for my yearly mammogram, and the doctor said, everything is fine. I'll see you in a year. So a couple of weeks after my mammogram and given the okay, then I felt a lump. It was about 2 or 3 weeks after that. And so I said, well, let me go ahead and have this looked at again, because the doctor just told me everything was fine. And sure enough, after doing the exam again, the doctor said, you have breast cancer. But the most important thing about it is that I want to share with you is that when you feel that something is not right, even though you might have already gone to the doctors and the doctor has conveyed to you everything is fine, but you know in your heart that it is not fine, or you need to have it checked out, get it checked out. Men can also get breast cancer as well. It's not totally for women that will get breast cancer. And so with that, in January of 2008 is when I started my treatment. I had cancer treatment, I had radiation treatment, chemotherapy treatment as well. And that took me to about April. But I do want to say what is most important about women going through breast cancer is having a support system, where I was fortunate to have a support system, not only my family, my husband, and our children, but also a support system through my church, which is Shorter Community AME Church here in Denver, Colorado. And it's comprised of, one of the ministries is a breast cancer ministry for women who are either going through active treatment or either who are breast cancer survivors, and also for their families as well. And it's basically a group where women have a consensus of it being alike. And so with that, it provides support elements to women, talking about how they may feel, because this is something brand new. And so at first, I didn't want to share my story because you're thinking maybe you're the only person at first. But then as you talk more and share your story, you find out that women have been affected just as you have been. And so I want to let you know that I am a 14-year breast cancer survivor.
You're on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, mute one of them, please.
Are you talking to me?
Whoever's on Facebook, is anybody on? Yeah, you might want to mute one of them. Are you able to hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Are you
if
getting some
anybody's,
feedback? I came in through Facebook, Jewel.
okay, so maybe see if you can mute yours and see if that works. Somebody is echoing. I just want to see. That's Tracey, but I want to pull up a better picture of Tracey. So Tracey, I'll let you. How are you doing? Are you echoing?
No.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You can't hear me? Oh, okay.
I can hear you.
I was just
you are, yes.
Ask you. Oh, you can't? Okay. Trying to see. Actually, I was going to ask you the question.
Okay.
Just going through cancer. I'm glad you're better. How well are you? What are they saying now? Are you completely in remission of breast cancer? And did you have any yourself?
State your question again.
I was asking, what are some of the disparities that women have with breast cancer, and are you, do you have some disparities that affect you in your journey?
Some of the disparities, it really depends on where one may live. And the reason why I say that is because one of the disparities could be the resources that are available to women who have breast cancer, meaning, where do I go? Where do I go to get a mammogram? Do I have the funding to get a mammogram? Will my benefits take care of getting a mammogram or a yearly mammogram? Going to the doctors, is there money available to go to the doctors if there's a copay? And then also, once they go through the chemotherapy and so forth, is there going to be enough of financial assistance for that? So that whole realm right there is just a disparity. There are other disparities. Transportation. Is there transportation to get to the doctors? Will the woman be able to get off from work to go to the doctor appointment? Not all organizations or managers may feel the same way to let one of their employees go to a doctor. Will their benefits take care of that? So that's another disparity. The biggest disparity is the education piece. Women not knowing or what is available to them or what rights they may have. In my situation, I was able to work in those areas. For instance, I worked for Susan G. Komen here in Denver, where it is or was a large profit non-organization that assisted women who had needs in those disparities that I just listed. I got a lot of information doing activity work or being an advocate, and still an advocate for women, because it's important for women to know what those disparities are and how they can override those disparities. I myself didn't actually go through those disparities, but being an advocate in our different communities, we find out that there are disparities for women. The other thing is women not knowing, and that's the education piece. And so it's very important, if anything, that we do or that I do is to educate women train women and let them know these are the areas that you can go to. These are the people that you can contact.
Yes. And so what are you finding? Go ahead and state your the foundation that you are affiliated with.
Well, I first started off with Susan G. Komen as a volunteer.
Right.
And what that is the African American Advisory Council of women who are breast cancer survivors, or they know of someone who has breast cancer. And as a group, what we would do is we would advocate in our communities and be invited to health fairs, to programming, so that we can provide these informations to women at these public events, as you will, or programming. What is the biggest thing, and you might have heard it, is the More Than Pink Walk or Race for the Cure, which has been done in Denver as well as in Colorado Springs, Colorado. And what it is, it's basically a 3-mile walk, usually in September or October, and funds are being raised for women of research so that that can be applied to women who is going through breast cancer treatments or current treatments, for women who do not, again, have the funding. And so this pot of money is helping women to have that monies that are applied to them. The other is the research, which is the biggest thing as well. Another disparity, as I mentioned, is the resources. There are different places here in Colorado where women can get resources if they need, once they do go through breast cancer treatment or currently going through treatment. So that's the other thing. So if you will, this whole big information, when a person or a woman finds out that they have breast cancer, the first question is, oh, where do I go? Who do I speak to? Now, the doctor may or may not relay that information. Well, this is a person that you can speak to. I will refer you to this person. But if not, then that person is on their own to do all of that research. That's where I come in. That's where our advocates come in, so that we can assist that woman so that she can be supported, because this is an emotional time for her and her family.
Yes, yes.
And also, I volunteer for American Cancer Society, which they basically work all your cancer areas, but they also do the breast cancer survivor as well. And so I try to educate myself and learn more and more by being a volunteer and being an advocate for these different organizations. The more you know, the more you learn, the more you can provide, the more you can educate others. And so it's really, really important. And breast cancer does not have a certain age for any person. It can be anyone that gets breast cancer at any age. It does not necessarily have to be heredity.
Correct. So with that being said, I was thinking maybe we can bring everybody on, and so that we can talk about it. Pam, let's have a conversation, and then we can let Pam tell her story, because we're echoing, aren't I? Yeah.
Well, I was going to say that something resonated with me when Tracey said that it's not hereditary. I did not have anyone in my family that I could look back to that had ever had breast cancer. And then the type of breast cancer that I had, I was told that was most common in Caucasian women.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And another point
so what
too.
type was it? Did they say that it was a certain?
Not that I can recall like a name that was given to it. I'm sure I still have documentation, like I told you before, from that process.
Right.
I probably could go through it and maybe find something, but just Tracey mentioning that kind of quickened that thought in my head.
What I would like
Yes.
to do.
And go ahead, Tracey.
What I would like to do is piggyback on what Pam is saying, is that, which is really, really important, white women get breast cancer more than Black women or women of color. However, women of color die more of breast cancer. So let that resonate a little bit. White women get breast cancer more than Black or women of color. However, Black women or women of color die from breast cancer more than white women. And that stems from the disparity. And that also equals education.
Also, what I would like to say is I truly agree with what Tracey just said. I happened to have a very good job at the time that I got breast cancer. And when I went in, my doctor, so I had similar to Tracey, I had a mammogram earlier in 2006 that was said to be, successful. But then as the year wore on, I started to get this pressure in my chest every time someone would hug me. So I knew I had to take care of that and had made an appointment to do so. But so fast forward through that process, it was my doctor once she found out that it was truly breast cancer that set up the appointments for me. So that was the advantage that I had. I heard Tracey said that sometimes that there are women that have to go about and find out where they should go and what they should do, for themselves. But I was fortunate in that aspect that my doctor set up everything for that first meeting with the surgeon, with the oncologist. She just began to set up everything for me. But also once that first meeting had taken place with the oncologist, the first thing, and this was rather disheartening, but the first thing that I was asked was, did I have insurance? Because they wanted to make certain that I was able to pay for the treatment that I was going to receive. So that was one of the first things. And so, luckily for me, which may not be the case for all women, I was able to do that because having cancer is very costly. So being sick is very costly.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I am just like we had the conversation before, where let me just bring us all back in. Okay, guys, I was just going to bring us all back in. And then, but yeah, it is very costly. And so I know, Pam, we spoke about this before, but Tracey, I don't think we talked about how women can do breast exams and where can they get the information to show them the proper way to do breast exams, because that's one thing a lot of people don't realize. Men and women can get breast cancer, and they don't know the first thing to do, or once they find out that they've checked. Like I said, I know Pam and I spoke about this on the podcast, and when she did the breast exam, how she felt, the tenderness before you, well, once you felt the uncomfortable. I think you spoke to your doctor about that and what the doctor said. Does that, am I echoing? I'm hearing myself echo. Sorry.
Yeah, yes, that's true. But there was it was a discomfort. At the church that I went to, we hugged a lot. So people would grab me and hug me, but there would be this pain in my chest. And I'd be like, this is not natural. So I've got to get that looked at. So that was really the thing that prompted it. Not only that, but I had found the mass myself. And this is right after, it probably, they told me once I got the diagnosis that it was a fast growing tumor. And so,
Right.
And I don't know that I actually talked about it in the podcast, but it got to be 5 centimeters, I think is what it got to be, which I think is roughly about the size of a golf ball.
Okay, that's and you had the surgery, or I remember you had the surgery, or
I had several surgeries. Lumpectomy. Lumpectomy is what I had.
Yeah, I had a lumpectomy also. Mine was very small.
You did too. Okay, well, I'm glad that
mine as well. Yeah, it was very small, and I had a lumpectomy as well, and then the chemotherapy and radiation.
Right, and what they did was they went ahead and treated it to see how small they could reduce it, and then once it was at a certain size, then I had the lumpectomy.
Okay.
But then I also followed with the chemo pills because I guess, from what I had learned was that cancer wants to hide out because it wants to protect itself from being destroyed by the chemo. And so it wants to hide. So it'll go into this hiding thing. And so after I got through with the intravenous chemo, I was then given these chemo tablets that I had to take for a few months, and then the radiation.
Okay. The other big thing too is that women of color may have more dense breasts, and that might be one of the reasons where it's harder at first for the cancer to be seen or shown. Going back to the funding part, we have the mammograms, but we have different types of mammograms. We have the D2 mammograms, we have the D3 mammograms, and actually the D3s are the best mammograms because it picks up even in the most dense breasts, from what I understand. So that's another education for women to have an understanding of asking their doctor or their oncologist, what is the best mammogram after this should I be getting? Should it be a D3? Should it be a D2? And the other website that people can go to, you were asking earlier, Jewel, as far as how do they do their self-exams. They can go to susangcoleman.org. I'm sure they can go to the American Cancer Society website also. I know Susan G. Komen has a lot of information from A through Z of questions that anyone may have. And as far as the exams, as we were told, the best time to do your breast exams is either in the shower, and basically your women are feeling in those areas underneath their arms is really important as well for anything that doesn't feel right. And you can do it
right.
You can choose a date each month, the 2nd, the 9th, your birthday, that same date for each month to do your breast exam, or if it's around the cycle also. It's just dates that's easier to remember.
Right. Well, I was thinking, I don't know why I thought I read somewhere in your bio where you had a foundation or a business that you were running. But I also know that for those who know, that is something I work with people who fail to thrive. So if you're needing answers, questions, comments, research done, then I would be the one. And that's when you want to go to simplyjewel.com so that I can help you to create a regime just for you. Everybody's body chemistry is different. And so I can also assist when you go to the doctor. And I want to add that into the equation as well, because what we want to do is generate enough income or so that we can start human test trials, with Dr. Green being able to literally shrink the cancer cells. We're ready to move into human test trials. So Tracey, chime in if you like, but I wanted to express to them about how she shrunk the cancer cells and how we can get become more supportive, getting these donations in so that we can move to human test trials. We're not trying to do research hoping we can have a cure for cancer. We're trying to move to human test trials. She already has a way to treat cancer. And that's simply by using nanoparticles to shrink the cancer cells. So we're not trying to knock anyone, but what we do want to do is make sure that people understand that's what this fundraiser is about. We're trying to generate enough money by going to Aura 341 to 7177, text money, or go to simplyjewel.com, push on that donation button so that we can start getting the first 10 million. So in the world that we know, the science world, there has to be 3 human test trials before we can move. Is that correct, Tracey? We're doing the first human test trial, trying to raise the $10 million so that we can start that first human test trial. And then in the science industry, you have to do it 3 times before they can move to the next, which is what, Tracey?
Yes, and she's trying to raise. Can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is explain to them. Go ahead.
Okay, we're in the first phase of raising funds for human clinical trials. So first I want to say to Tracey and Pamela, you ladies are brave survivors, and I congratulate you. And I don't know if I would be so brave, but I hope that if that should ever happen to me, that I'm as brave as you ladies are. So I thank you and appreciate your stories. Tracey, I am a volunteer. You're welcome. I am a volunteer fundraising coordinator for the Orally Smith Cancer Research Foundation. And Dr. Hadia Nicole Green already has a treatment, a better way of treating cancer by using nanoparticles. And you could find out more about her story and about the treatment on orally.org. I heard you say that you volunteer for, I don't know if you're still volunteering for Susan G. Komen and the American Cancer Society, but I would absolutely like to talk to you about the Orally Smith Cancer Research Foundation. And you as well, Pam. You two ladies have Go ahead.
I would be happy to, Tracey, of course. Unfortunately, with the COVID and everything, it has affected the Susan G. Komen Denver affiliate office, as well as other offices. And so therefore, that is physically no longer. However, there is a Susan G. Komen headquarters, which is located in Dallas, Texas. But no, to answer your question, I am not volunteering for Susan G. Komen or the American Cancer Society at this time. But I do feel there is a need to still be an advocate, to be a voice. And I want to continue that as well for women in the community, because they need to have someone or something, information that is being provided as well. But I think it's very important, Tracey, what you are providing to myself and Pam. I would be honored to talk to you more further in regards to that.
Thank you. I'll share my, Jewel can share my information with you. And if you don't mind, Jewel can share your information with me, you and Pamela.
That's fine. Sure, that's fine.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Okay, y'all gotta slow down. I'm having trouble back here. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so wow, this thing is doing what it wants to do. I'm trying to bring Pam back on so that she could. Yes, and I'd like for Pam to also tell her story, but I also want to thank Tracey. Tracey, can you stick around for a little bit so that we can all come on, and then we're gonna start a
Sure.
Save some more. We've got a comedian on. I'm getting ready to bring him on in a minute, but I'd like for you guys to stay on. Hold on, Gorilla Man. We'll be right with you. I just want to talk to Pam a little bit more. I'm gonna bring him on so he can at least join the party. Sorry. How you doing, Ernie? This is Ernie, everybody. I'm gonna hold on, Pam. We're gonna bring you on in a little bit, okay? If you don't mind standing by. Okay, stand by for me. We'll come back for you, okay? And please put your phone on mute. Thank you, Pam. I'm sorry. We got a whole production going on here. So, yes, I was hoping to pair you and Tracey together so you guys could speak side by side. But what I want to do is there anything else you want to say to Tracey Stevenson, who is the coordinator of the Cancer Research Foundation, the fundraiser? And then is there anything that you are, well, actually what I'm going to say, Tracey Drayton and Pam Harlan, is there anything that you two would like to say?
I think Tracey pretty much hit it on the head. We, you know, as women, not only do we need to self-exam, which was something that I did all the time, but we need to be very, very familiar with our bodies. Another way that I knew that something was absolutely not right was that the breast was hot to the touch. And so that's a signal to me that there's inflammation there. And so that's another sign that should tell you that I need to get this looked at. I need to have somebody tell me what's going on here. So not only did I have the pain, initial pain when someone were to hug me, but then it's hot to the touch. And that's not a natural thing for the body. So it's the body giving you clues that, you know, it needs help of some degree.
Mm-hmm. That's a good tip, Pamela. I'll be feeling for heat every month now.
I would say I would say that the biggest thing is to communicate, to educate, and let women know the importance of the breast cancer awareness and what that is.
Yeah. Because even with all the things that I did, eating well, exercising, self-examination, I still end up with breast cancer. And Jewel and I have had a talk about this, the way I think I got this breast cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
But I believe all these things play a part. And so, yes, we need somewhere to go. Yes, we need to know if there is, I think the struggle that I found once I lost my hair was there was no place for me to go to find a wig that looked like me, you know, one that I could wear. That was a struggle for me.
And the education piece also is, it's important for women to know their family history, their medical history of their family. Again, it does not have to be heredity for someone to get breast cancer. Someone in your family may not have ever had breast cancer, and then someone gets breast cancer. But it helps if someone knows the history, their family history. And I think that's the education piece, because it gets people to start talking about who they are and how things are. And it makes it much easier. And then also getting around that acceptance of someone who gets breast cancer. I think they're healed once they accept that they have breast cancer and how they can provide that information to other women. Because at first, you may not want to tell anybody that you have breast cancer. How is everybody going to receive me? What is it going to look like? But that person themselves have to accept that emotionally themselves first, and then they can be comfortable in their own skin.
I agree with that.
And that's where that support element, that support group comes in.
Right. And just from my viewpoint, not that I have experienced it, but I would say it's important for women to know, and anyone to know that has some type of sickness, that they are not alone, that there are other people out there that's going through the same thing.
Right.
And you have shoulders that you can lean on, people that you can talk to, because that's a horrific thing to be going through and not be able to talk to anyone. That will definitely mess with your psyche. And sometimes when you're mentally stable and supported, it helps you to go through whatever it is you're going through much better, as opposed to going through it alone. So I think what you ladies are doing is very, very important, you know, to be out there supporting other women and letting them know that they're not alone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, well, thank you guys for coming on. Do you want to hang out while we go to the next person? I appreciate you. I thank you, Tracey. Thank you, Pam. We're going to be here till 9 o'clock, so we want to get the donations coming in. I'm getting ready to check to see, are people just watching, or are they supporting a great cause? We are in need, people. We need your help, people. So can you please help us so that we can move to the human test trials? We need 52 million that I committed to help move for the revelation, the revolution. It's time for us to have a cure, and we need people to get involved and donate. Like, it's Friday night. You can't go to a bar. What's it going to cost you to buy a drink or get a meal? Can you please help us out and text that $10 I don't know, what are drinks nowadays? $10, $15, and put that in a text, to ORA 341 to 71777. We need your help. We have a cure. We're not trying to find it. Dr. Green has found a way to shrink it. So let's donate, please. I'm asking. I'm going to keep asking. And I hope you keep popping in and popping out and popping in and popping out, because we're going to be here. As long as we have entertainment, we're going to be here. But thank you, Tracey. Thank you, Pam. Stick around and let's see what we can do to, I said I was going to check. I'm going to check first. Tracey, I don't know if we can put it up on the screen or if we did. So I'll just wait a few minutes and let you know. But in the meantime, we've got, let's see, Mike is here. I think that, yes, thank you. And we've